Hey there folks, my name's Cav and welcome to my Racing Encyclopedia. In this video I'm going to briefly talk about some different sporting series that I've been covering on the channel over the course of this year, and some bits that I haven't, because we're approaching the motorsport off-season. I actually originally had this scheduled for next week. Two things brought that forward. One is I haven't watched any of the INDYCAR stuff that I want to review. Another one was I watched Jake Sim Racing talking about this stuff, and what's funny is I'd already planned this video in advance, and some of the series that got mentioned in that were ones that I was thinking of as well. So let's see where the overlap is, and let me talk about the kind of things that you can look for over the course of this motorsports off-season. And firstly, I do want to recommend the two premier series in Japan, Super GT and Super Formula. You can sometimes find the English language broadcasts online. You can find the full races online. They released them, a couple of weeks after the actual events. There are some good championship battles in there. Good standalone races in there. Super Formulas are essentially F2 cars with a push-to-pass system similar to what you see in INDYCAR. Or you would before the hybrid, that is. And then Super GT has your GT3s, then it has the GT500s, which are, I think, genuinely like hypercar speeds in some places. And the tracks are cool as well. If you've been in sim racing, you will recognise a lot of them. Like some of them you'll recognise just from watching like F1 and WEC, so Fuji, Suzuka. Then there's like Sugo, there's Autopolis, there's Motegi. A lot of fun events. Heck, Super GT even went to Malaysia this year. And Sepang. If you're somebody that didn't watch the last F1 race there in 2017 or hasn't watched any top flight races there before, that's something good to look at. Another thing that I'd recommend is something that, Jake also talked about in his video. GT World Challenge stuff. Like, they've pretty much all wrapped up now. GT World Challenge, you can go onto the GT World channel and you can find any of the regional ones. Also, for example, the European one has separate sprint and endurance championships, which have different grids. And then there's the IGTC, the Intercontinental GT Challenge, which has all of the big endurance races. If you want to watch something in episodes, go and watch them. Bar was interesting this year. Nürburgring was interesting this year. Even within them, if you're going into it as F1 fan, look at what the Verstappen.com cars do. Where in one championship it's Astons and another one is Ferraris. It's the same drivers, the Mullen and Lulham. I think Harry King was in the Astons, wasn't he? Well, yeah, they're a good watch. Lots of different stories, and some names you might think are familiar if you watch other motorsport pop up. Ash Sutton and Jake Hill, for example. Which then brings me on to another series. Because if you want to watch something that's an endurance series that's multi-class and GT3 is up there as the top, watch the Creventic stuff, the 24-hour series as it's known. There are only a couple of things that are actually towards the 24-hour end. Usually they're like 12-hour or 6-hour races. You might know it as Creventic when you're on iRacing. Again, you get like Jake Hill in there. The Dubai race at the start of the season had Nikita Mazepin in a prototype car that he crashes in the pit lane and did break down the pit lane with him behind the wheel. Was he even behind the wheel when it happened? Can't remember. Some of the venues they have on that are ones like Mugello, which are a fun watch. There's also touring cars. BTCC, every single race, you can go onto the ITV Sport YouTube channel. You can find them. And they have them as each weekend its own video. That's nice to do. It's a lot of fun to sit down and watch. I love BTCC. I've been watching it since I was a kid. One of the first games I played was the original Toka game on the computer. I like the Super Touring stuff that's being added to Race Room. It's a lot of fun. Outside of that, I mean, FFSA's touring car stuff, so the French touring car stuff, is on the GT World channel. That's TCRs. You also have TCR UK. You also have the TCR World Tour, watch that on their own YouTube. It was the World Touring Car Championship, became the World Touring Car Cup. Now it's the TCR World Tour. It was meant to have a finale in Vallelunga sometime soon, but that's been cancelled. It's a shame. Might talk about that in another video at some point, but yeah, touring cars, lots of fun. It's almost kind of NASCAR adjacent when you look at the beat and the bang and the drivers leaning on each other. It's just that it's all road courses. Which then brings me to NASCAR, because looking stateside, NASCAR uploads all of its full race replays. INDYCAR, I think some of it's region locked. Because I think some regions can get the 2025 races in full, but there are extended highlights on the NTT INDYCAR YouTube channel. Yeah, NASCAR is a fun one if you have something on in the background, and all 3 national series are represented. So, Cup, Xfinity for the final season owned Xfinity, and Trucks. They also have shorter and extended highlight ones, but their shorter highlights are around the 10-minute mark. Their extendeds are around the 15. There's also, I can't believe I didn't mention, WEC or the WRC. Lots of that's behind paywalls, but WRC often uploads full stage replays. And WEC has the full races for this season available, so if you want to go and watch the full Le Mans 24, you can. But, yeah. I know I'm missing quite a few series. For example, Stock Car Brazil, which is something that I have been watching and covering, or DTM, which you can lump in with the other GT series. There are ones almost certainly I've covered on this channel. Heck, Formula E is about to start back up. That's technically not on and off season. Or Supercars, where they don't upload the full races, but they will also be on there as well. I'm just having a look through and thinking, what other things are there that I'm actually kind of missing? And IMSA, alongside WEC, full races are available online for that. And you can try and watch Extreme E and Extreme H. I didn't particularly enjoy them, but that's something that's meant to be for another video. World RX, if you want to watch back the final season of World RX for now, you can do that. But one of the things I'm thinking about as we're going through this... Oh, another wildcard one. Langer, that was funny. If you watch that back, that's absolutely beautiful chaos. ERC with a WRC, but there is one other thing that does come to mind. One of the things that does come to mind for me is that, well, there is still racing that is actually actively happening. Formula E starts up, well, they're currently doing on-track action as I'm recording this video, but tomorrow is the first race of the season in Brazil. Dakar starts up in a few weeks' time. There are still other endurance races that are happening. Is it the Golf 12 Hour, the one at Yas Marina, which James Vowles, Williams team principal, will be racing in? That is something that is coming up if you wanted to sit down and you wanted to watch that. There is going to be lots of real-world motorsport just happening in the new year as well. So, yeah, by all means, there are plenty of things that are going to be going on. There are plenty of things that are going to be happening. Plenty of things you want to look at and talk about. And some of them I'll be covering on this channel. Some of them I won't be, but some of them I will be. So, yeah. From there, folks, thanks so much for watching and joining. Yeah, it's just under the 10-minute mark, which is good because you can probably tell that some bits were a bit more waffly. But I covered pretty much all that I wanted to. The Toyota Gazoo Racing Series, the one that's like the New Zealand Grand Prix, that's at some point soon as well. But yeah, think of more. We'll talk about that another time. Till then, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Until next time, bye for now.